So as we come to the end of the season, I did promise you in the second half of the season I was going to look to change, rebuild, develop the squad, and defensively we have done that. And in my opinion, we have made this squad very, very good, and definitely one that long term in the future could be very successful. So as we look to recap the season, we are going to start with the transfer window from the summer. Obviously, we recapped the first few games of the season when we looked at the European recap. So, in terms of the outs over the summer window, we were quite busy. So first off, Jaeger went out to Stoke, and as I say, was a player who technically really did drop off massively. So we've ended up letting him go out to Stoke. He's joined them permanently as well. Nielsen we sold for 700k. We did take a loss on him in the end, but he was proper complaining about wanting to leave, so we ended up just letting him go. Axel Grosso went on loan to Strømsgodset. We had a lot of players in attacking midfield in the B team, and we had some talent coming through our youth team who I really wanted to get some football, so we let him go out on loan Strømsgodset. Hoffen went to Ilkissa. We sold him for next to nothing, but we had quite a few right backs. We never were going to use him, and we had some younger players who I wanted to come through to the B team. Anders Sunder, who's been a regular stalwart in this squad, came through the academy, but technically just never developed. And even though he's one of my first choice centre backs, I've let him go, and we've just looked to really strengthen our central defence area. Rothman went on loan. Brezin went to Lecce. Disappointing moved on, but again, another player who was on a free non-contract, so we couldn't. Youth contract. Come on, Paul, spit your words out. The next player was Aaron Nagel. Also went because he was on a youth contract. I did try to get him to stay, but we wanted 15,000 a week to stay, so we let him go. Monilo, a young Brazilian who we had. Well, young, he's 25 now. Oh my god. Was he 23 when we signed him? I thought he was like 20. But he's gone out on loan. And then Solhog went to Roma for 7k. I know what you're thinking, why would you sell him for 7k? He was 18 years old. Doesn't look that good. Am I missing something? But they paid 7k for him. I was just happy to just move him on. He was never going to develop, in my opinion. But now let's look at the ins, and you might recognise a few of the players. So first off, Vaslan came through the Egerson Academy, ended up going on to Roma, has now come in as a rotation option of right and left wing back. Really, really like him. I just think it adds some good depth coming on a free transfer from Roma. The next one is Merde has come back. After 200 league appearances in 8 years with Egerson, he has now come back to Norway to end his career. So he's with us for 3 years. I know what you're going to say. That's an insane amount of time to offer him a contract for. Let me just tell you this. When he declines too much, he's going to play an LB team. Then, hopefully, he's going to become a coach. I love that guy. I love that guy. The next sign is one of our first developments in central defence. Lasse Karolsen comes in, and wow. So he's going to come in and play in central defence as a ball. I promise I can speak. He's going to come in to play in central defence as a no-nonsense central defender. Do you ever have them days where sometimes words just don't come out? The issue I've got is on them days, I might have to record a video, like today. And when the words don't come out, you're kind of stuck in a position where you need to record a video. The worst thing is, I've got a live stream coming tonight. In about 4 hours I'm going live, and I need to be able to spit words out. But this last Karolsen looks really, really good. 20 years old now, joined us when he was still only 19. I think that's 6 million well spent. I really do. Next one, Kevin Steens comes in from Sevilla. Came through the Egerson Academy. He was with us. They sold him just after I left Egerson, which I still don't understand why. But we brought him into play instead of Sunder in the back three. He's not the tallest, but as a 3 at the back, he's very, very good. And adds experience. He's 30 years old now. Really pleased to bring him in. And finally, for 5 million, Matthias Rade Olsen joins us from Molde. And again, another player who I really do think has a lot of potential. I think he looks a very, very solid player. So delighted to bring him in. So we spent 18 million, bringing in 3.2. So we've spent big in terms of what we've recouped. And we've completely redesigned our backline with 2 of our 3 central defenders now, new signings. I'm really pleased with what we've done. Okay, so let's recap some things. First off, it is the Cup, and as you can see, very disappointing. We went through in the first round 3-0 against Strijdheim before going out to Molde in the second round. The board were really disappointed, so were the supporters, and so was I. Really disappointed with this, and it really did put us on the back foot in terms of keeping people happy. The board are already sulking that we weren't developing enough players. They now want us to sign high profile. They were sulking we weren't doing that. And then we went out early in the Cup. Okay, so the next thing for us to look at is our league campaign then. So we had our recap of Europe around this time here. So we went through June and got 2 victories and 1 draw against Sogndal. Before going into July, where we picked up 2 draws against Bode Glimt and Vålerenga. Such a bogey team, Vålerenga. Before we picked up 3 victories in between there against Rosenborg, Åsane and HamKam. Moving into August, we got beat by Ulkisse on the opening day of August before picking up 3 victories against Bryne and Egersund, both local sides to me, then Fleur picking up a victory against them. In September, we beat Hønefoss and Molde before defeats to Odds and Viking and a draw to Stabæk. Put us a couple of points off top, and we really were battling to try to chase it back. We then beat Sogndal, then picked up victory against Bode Glimt, relegated Rosenborg, and then beaten Åsane 5-1 on the final day. But was that going to be enough? So as you can see here, on the final day, we beat Åsane 5-1, and Stabæk drew 0-0 with Viking. And let me tell you, if I go to the stages side of things here, the league table, you will see we ended up winning the title by 1 point. That draw from Stabæk ended up costing them the title. If they had won on the final day, the title was theirs. But their draw to Viking, our victory over Åsane, made us leapfrog them and end up being crowned champions. And I'm absolutely over the moon. And the best thing about all this, I didn't have a new contract until December. The board, at no point throughout the whole season, came to me and said, "Oh, you need a new contract." There was some players come on the media and said they hoped I stayed, etc. But nothing came about. And then in December, just as we were crowned champions, the new contract came out. So as you can see, we have won 3 of the last 5. And I'm absolutely over the moon. Absolutely over the moon. We are closing. We are so close now. If I go to the Hall of Fame for the nation, we are 63 points from being the most successful manager ever in Norway. Now, what I will say is, with Rosenborg being relegated, I considered going to them, taking over Rosenborg, and having one last challenge up to the end of FM24, trying to win the league title with them. But when I'm this close to being the greatest manager ever in Norway, and chasing our way up, if we go to like the continent, for example, we're in 19th place here now at 2448. We are chasing our way up. I mean, I can quite easily jump up to 17th quite quickly. This Lillestrøm team we are developing is insane. And I have to stay with this team for a couple of years and just see what we can achieve. I believe we are on the verge of something great. The best thing as well is salary per annum. We spend 10 million a year less than Bode Glimt, and Egersund is spending 70 million still. 70 million. So the fact that we ended up winning the title, I'm absolutely delighted with. Now let's just remind you guys as well that 6 teams got in Europe this year. So us, Stabæk and Egersund are all going in the Champions League. Vålerenga into the Europa League. And Odds are going into the Europa Conference League, and Viking also go into the Europa League. I guess they ended up winning the cup. Let's just check the cup, shall we? Just out of curiosity. Viking won the cup, yeah, beating Bode Glimt in the final. So after winning the league title last year, our B team did drop off a little bit. They finished 10 points off Arendal, who won the league. Finished in 4th, though it's still respectable. I would like us maybe try to win it again next year, but 4th place I can accept. So in the league for under-19s, we didn't have the best season, finishing in 7th, which is a bit of a shock because we've got some talent in there now. Let me just put it that way. We've got some talent in there. But what I would say is if we go to the fixtures, you will see Norwegian Under-19 Cup. We beat Egerton in the final 2-0. So we are Cup champion. I just want to give a special mention. Look at how good this guy is developing. Look at how good he's developing. Really, really solid. I think another year probably playing B team football, etc. And as Maida drops off when he hits 35, this guy can come through and probably get a bit more game time. But oh my days, he's developing into a decent looking player. And we have got some very solid players. And this guy as well who can play left back, can play centre mid. Again, very, very decent. He's only 16 as well. Looking player. I'm excited to see how our youth team's going to continue to push on. So all in all, for our team this season, our top goal scorer was Aleman, who's picked up 22 goals in 20 games. He had that long-term injury, so he only ended up playing. He played 7 starts and 7 sub-appearances in the league. So that shows how injured he was this year. Second top goal scorer was Zadro with 11. Haftorson, who we brought in on a free from Egerton, has picked up 10. Guttelzor with 7. Yanti with 5. In terms of assists, not as good with that. So Henriksen has picked up 10. Lee with 7. Zadro with 7. And Yanti with 7. I'm on the Golden Boy screen because I wanted to mention something out in terms of how we have developed players. So we had Fossum and Fosdal at Egerton. We had Crawl coming got Golden Boy. Buzek, Ansys. We had Fury at Lilstrom quite early on as well. Alaman won it last year. Well, this season, Academy player Harry Henriksen has won European Golden Boy. I think it gets announced 2 days after the date I'm recording this episode, so I'm a couple of months ahead, almost ready to actually record the episode after. But he has won European Golden Boy. I know what you're thinking. He doesn't look a world beater. He's fantastic. He really is. He's just so solid, and especially in the match engine, watching him play, he's so solid. And the fact he's an academy player, icing on the cake. Icing on the cake. Now, when you look at our squad, it's going to be very few developments on this. So, Lingstad in goal. We have YLA, Carlson and Steens as our back three. Now, I really like that back three. I do. I really like it. No nonsense centre back there as a stopper pushing in this gap. Henriksen and Leah as our wing backs are fantastic. Menace played the last game, but it has been Niemeyer in that ball midfield alongside Kodder, who is developing really, really well. 22 years old now, just very solid deep line playmaker. We have the Croatian Zadro in attack and mid, who, when he came in, was one of our best players, and I couldn't believe how good he was. He's honestly not far off being replaced in terms of we've got better quality. Then you have Guttelzor alongside him, who is our skipper, 27 years old now. He's been with me from 2043 when I signed him. So he's nearly been with me 10 years, 20 years. Quite old for only 27. He's just good. He's just good. Captain of this club, really like him. And Alaman, who has had a major injury this year, but hopefully can push on now. 36 in 50 games domestically for us still. But look at his attributes. Look at his attributes. Now, he is unhappy and does want to leave. We don't need the money. He's not valued that high, and there's still 3 years on his contract. If I have to, I'll just have him right through till 54 and let him go on a free. But I want to hold on to him as long as we can, unless all the players kick up a fuss and we have to let him go. But all in all, I'm genuinely pleased and content with the players we've got. We've got some players coming through in the academy who I think could step up if we need them to. There's no reason to look and fish around for new players. Now, one of the changes I do want to mention is we will be saying goodbye to John Terry. 71 years old now. He has been with me from 2031 to 2045 at Egerton, and then 2046 until now with Lilstrom, 5 years. He's been with me a long time. 71 years old. His preferred formation of a 4-4-2. We're going to move him on. And let me show you who we are bringing in. He is the B team manager at the minute. So if we go to manager of the B team, he was with us. If I go to his history, where can I find jobs? So he was with us at Egerton. Where is... oh, what a disaster this screen is, just to show that there should just be a general overview history of a manager. So, transfer. So he joined Egerton as our under-19 coach in 2042. Okay? 3 years later, I brought him in to be the B team manager of Lillestrøm. He's been with me now for 6 years here at Lillestrøm, and he's now going to move up to be the assistant manager with me. He's only 30. He's got a national license, so he can develop a lot more. He came in at Egerton when he was just turned 21, 22. Now age 30, he's still been with me this whole time. He's now gone from being an under-19 coach, B team manager, to now the new assistant manager of the club. And that's the type of development I like as well. It just adds that little bit of extra story to the journey. The final thing to recap from this 2051 year is how the rest of the league went. So Floro, Rosenborg, which is such a shock, and Bryne went down. Coming up then is Stjørdalsblink, Sandnes Ulf, and KFUM Oslo. Going down from the second tier again. Such a big team, but going back down, Strømsgodset, Frigg and Vard Haugesund. From the third level, coming up is Asker and Sandefjord. And from this other division is Arendal coming up. Going down was Brands B team, etc. It's been a journey. It's continuing to be a journey. We, as a manager, have now played 1,329 games. We are absolutely kicking ass on this journey. And honestly, I don't know how many seasons are left, but I would like to continue a little bit. Just a little. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you in the next episode where we look at the 2051-52 European campaign.